Imagine you walk into the living room after a long day at work, ready for that classic explosive canine greeting where your dog acts like they haven't seen you in 10 years. But instead of a wagging tail and a cold nose to the hand, you see your pup glance at you, let out a long, heavy sigh, and slowly wander into the next room. You tell yourself they're just sleepy, or maybe they're just being a little independent today. But as the evening goes on, you realize they're sitting just a few feet further away than usual. Or they're choosing the rug in the hallway over the spot right next to you on the sofa. It's a sinking feeling, almost like being ghosted by your best friend. Most of us think that if a dog has an issue with us, they'll bark, growl, or make it obvious. But dogs are masters of the subtle snub. They don't always use a loud voice to tell us they need space. Often, they use a series of quiet, secret behaviors that signal they are intentionally avoiding your presence. Today, we are deciphering the canine cold shoulder. We're breaking down 10 subtle signs that your dog is actually trying to keep their distance and, more importantly, why they might be doing it. If you want to fix the rift and get back to those belly rubs, you need to know how to read between the lines. Let's get into the silent signals your dog is using to tell you things aren't quite right. The first sign is one that many owners actually mistake for good behavior, and that is the calculated departure. This is when you enter a room and your dog, who is perfectly comfortable sleeping on the rug, suddenly decides that now is the perfect time to go get a drink of water or check out a noise in the kitchen. It's not an aggressive runaway, but a slow, purposeful exit. If this happens once, it's nothing. But if you notice that every time you sit down near them, they suddenly have a to-do list in another part of the house, it's a sign they are feeling a bit overwhelmed by your energy. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to the emotional weight we bring into a room. If you've been stressed, loud, or even just overly needy for affection, your dog might feel that the atmosphere around you is a bit too heavy. They aren't mad at you in the human sense, but they are choosing a low-pressure environment over the high-pressure one you might be creating. To bridge this gap, try being passive. Don't pursue them. Just sit in the room and do your own thing. Let them realize that your presence doesn't always mean a forced interaction. Sign number 2 is something we call the squint and look away. In the human world, if someone looks away while you're talking, they might just be distracted. In the dog world, avoiding eye contact is a very specific appeasement signal. If you walk up to your dog and they immediately turn their head, lick their lips, or start sniffing a random spot on the floor, they are actively trying to de-escalate a situation. This often happens if an owner has been a bit too stern lately, or if the dog has come to associate your direct approach with a lecture or an unpleasant task like a bath or a nail trim. By refusing to meet your eyes, they are saying, "I am not a threat. Please don't be a threat to me." It's a defensive move. If your dog is secretly avoiding your gaze, it's a sign that the trust has a few cracks in it. You can fix this by rewarding them just for looking at you. Keep some tiny treats in your pocket, and every time they choose to make brief, soft eye contact, give them a reward and a calm good boy. You want to turn your gaze from a spotlight of judgment back into a beam of affection. Moving on to sign number 3, which is the stiff-bodied wag. We've been taught that a wagging tail equals a happy dog, but that is one of the biggest myths in pet ownership. A tail wag is simply a sign of emotional arousal. It can mean excitement, but it can also mean frustration or extreme anxiety. If your dog wags their tail when you approach, but their body is as stiff as a board, their ears are pinned back, and their movements are jerky, they aren't happy to see you. They are conflicted about seeing you. They are staying in place because they feel they have to, but every muscle in their body is coiled, ready to move away as soon as they get the chance. This is a subtle form of avoidance, where the dog is physically present but mentally looking for the exit. When you see this, stop moving toward them. Give them the choice to come to you instead. A wag is only a good sign if it's accompanied by a wiggly body and relaxed muscles. Sign number 4 is the excessive yawning and lip licking. If your dog isn't tired and they haven't just finished a meal, these are classic stress signals. If you sit down to cuddle and your dog lets out a massive yawn or starts flicking their tongue out over their nose repeatedly, they are telling you they are uncomfortable. It's their way of trying to calm themselves down because your current proximity is making them nervous. Think of it as a person shifting uncomfortably in their seat, or playing with their hair during a difficult conversation. If you ignore these signals and keep pushing for the cuddle, the dog will eventually escalate to sign number 1, physically leaving the room. To build that trust back, honor the yawn. If they yawn, give them a bit of space. Show them that you speak dog and that you respect their boundaries. Next up is sign number 5, the refusal of high-value rewards. This is a big red flag for a dog's emotional state. Usually, if you offer a piece of chicken or a favorite toy, a dog will drop everything to engage with you. But if your dog is secretly avoiding you, they might turn their nose up at the very thing they usually love. This is a sign that their internal pressure is higher than their food drive. It means they are so focused on the discomfort they feel around you that they can't even think about eating. It's like trying to eat a steak dinner while you're incredibly nervous about a public speech. You just can't stomach it. If your dog is refusing treats from your hand but will eat them if you drop them on the floor and walk away, they are telling you that you are the variable that is making the treat unappealing. This is a sign to dial back the intensity. Spend some time just existing in the same space without asking for anything from them. Sign number 6 is the low-profile sleep. Dogs who are fully comfortable with their owners will often sleep in exposed, vulnerable positions. Belly up, legs in the air, right in the middle of the floor. But a dog who is feeling a bit avoidant will choose defensive sleeping spots. They might sleep under a table, tucked behind a sofa, or in a corner with their back against a wall. They are essentially creates a fortress for themselves. They want to be in a spot where nobody can surprise them or approach them from behind. If your dog has stopped sleeping in their usual open spots and has moved to the shadows, they are looking for a sense of security that they currently don't feel in your direct presence. To help them, make sure their safe spots are strictly respected. If they go under the table, nobody is allowed to reach in and pull them out. When they realize their no-go zones are truly safe, they will eventually feel confident enough to come back out into the open. Sign number 7 is a change in their check-in behavior. Usually, a dog will naturally check in with their owner throughout the day, a quick nudge of the hand, a glance up from their toy, or a brief follow to the kitchen. If those tiny moments of connection have vanished, your dog is emotionally distancing themselves. They are functioning in the house like a roommate who stays in their room and only comes out to use the microwave when you're not there. This functional-only relationship is a sign that the bond has become transactional rather than emotional. They trust you to provide food and walks, but they don't necessarily seek your company for comfort. You can jumpstart this by becoming the source of all good things again. Use passive training. Toss a treat their way whenever you walk past them without making a big deal of it. You want to rebuild the association that being near you is always a winning situation. Moving on to sign number 8, the slow-motion response. You call their name, and you know they heard you, their ears flick, maybe their tail gives one tiny thump, but they don't move. They wait 10, 20, 30 seconds before slowly getting up and plodding toward you. This is a sign of reluctance. In the dog world, speed of response is a great indicator of how they feel about the person asking. If they are excited and trust you, they'll bolt to your side. If they are avoiding the interaction, they will drag their feet. It's their way of saying, "I'll do it because I have to, but I'm not happy about it." This often happens if the only time we call our dogs is for something they don't like, leaving the park, going in the crate, or getting a bath. To fix this, start a recall party. Call them for no reason other than to give them a huge reward and then let them go back to what they were doing. Make coming to you the best part of their day. Sign number 9 is the paw lift. You reach out to pet them, and they lift one front paw slightly off the ground while leaning their weight back. To a human, it might look like they are trying to shake hands. But in canine body language, a lifted paw in a stationary position is a sign of uncertainty and stress. They are on the fence. They want to be a good dog and stay, but every instinct is telling them to retreat. It's a very quiet, very polite way of saying, "I'm not comfortable with this touch right now." If you see the paw lift, pull your hand back. Let them be the one to bridge the gap. If they want to be petted, they will nudge your hand. By respecting the paw lift, you are telling your dog that you are a safe and observant leader. Finally, sign number 10 is the heavy sigh. Now, we all know the contented sigh a dog lets out when they finally settle into their bed. But there is a different kind of sigh, a short, sharp exhale that happens right after you interact with them, or right after you tell them to do something. This is often followed by the dog walking away. It's a sign of emotional frustration. It's the canine equivalent of a teenager rolling their eyes. It means the interaction didn't meet their needs, or they found it confusing or annoying. If your dog is sighing and walking away frequently, it's a sign that your communication is a bit noisy and frustrating for them. Try simplifying your commands. being more consistent with your rules, and lowering the overall volume of your interactions. Why does a dog secretly avoid us? It's almost never about spite or revenge. Dogs don't have the mental machinery for those complex human emotions. Instead, it's usually about predictability and safety. If you've been a bit inconsistent with the rules, or if you've been going through a high-stress time yourself, your dog might find your vibe to be a bit unstable. From a dog's perspective, an unpredictable human is a scary human. Avoiding you is their way of managing their own stress. It's a survival mechanism. They are protecting their peace. Think about the sandcastle of trust. Each of these signs is a little bit of sand being washed away, but the good news is that you can always start building again. The first step is to stop the pursuit. We often make the mistake of following an avoidant dog around the house, trying to force them to love us with more hugs and more attention. But in dog speak, this is actually very aggressive and overwhelming. It's like someone following you into every room when you've already said you want to be left alone. To win them back, you have to be boring. Become a calm, fun, predictable presence. Another big factor in avoidance is environmental stress. If your house has become loud, chaotic, or filled with new people, your dog might associate you as the manager of the house with that chaos. They might be avoiding the situation, but because you are the center of the situation, they avoid you as well. Make sure your dog has a den, a crate or a quiet room where they are never bothered. When they know they have an escape route, they actually feel more comfortable staying in the room with you because the pressure of being trapped is gone. We also have to consider physical discomfort. Sometimes a dog avoids an owner because they associate being touched with pain. As dogs get older, they might develop joint issues or sensitivities that we can't see. If every time you pet them, you accidentally hit a sore spot, they will eventually start avoidance behaviors as a form of self-protection. If your dog's avoidance seems sudden and out of character, a trip to the vet is always the first step. Rule out the physical before you tackle the emotional. The way we talk to our dogs matters too. We often use a high-pitched, frantic voice when we want to be affectionate. But to some sensitive dogs, this high-energy sound is actually quite grating. It can feel like a sensory overload. Try using a low, calm, rhythmic voice. Think of yourself as a calming signal. If you are the calmest thing in the room, your dog will naturally want to be near you because you are a source of peace. Trust is built in the quiet moments. It's not about the big trips to the beach or the expensive toys. It's about the 5 minutes you spend sitting on the floor with them, not even looking at them, just letting them exist in your space. It's about the way you calmly lead them to their bowl instead of shouting from across the house. It's about the way you honor their no just as much as you celebrate their yes. When a dog stops avoiding you and starts choosing you again, the feeling is incredible. You'll know things are turning around when you see the soft, wiggly body again. You'll see the head tilt of curiosity rather than the look away of uncertainty. You'll see them choose to sleep in the middle of the room again, effectively saying, "I trust this environment and I trust you." It takes a lot of maturity as a pet owner to admit that your dog might be avoiding you. It's easy to get defensive and say, "My dog loves me, they're just being weird." But the best owners are the ones who are humble enough to listen to what their dog is saying. Your dog is giving you a gift when they show these signs. They are giving you a chance to fix the relationship before it becomes a bigger problem. They are telling you exactly what they need. I need space, I need predictability, and I need a calm leader. If you've been seeing some of these signs, don't panic. You hasn't failed as a dog parent. You are just in a tuning phase. Think of it like a radio. Sometimes the signal gets a bit of static, and you just have to turn the dial a bit to find the clear station again. Consistency is the dial. Be the same person today that you were yesterday. Use the same words for the same commands. Follow the same routine for walks and meals. Once the static of uncertainty is gone, the music of your bond will come back loud and clear. Remember the paw lift and the whale eye. These are body language whispers. If you listen to the whispers, you'll never have to hear the screams of a growl or a snap. Being an observant owner is the highest form of love you can show your pet. It shows them that they are seen as an individual with their own feelings and boundaries, not just a prop for your own emotional needs. We also have to look at resource guarding from our side. Do you always take things away from your dog? Do you only approach them to take a shoe, a toy, or to move them off the sofa? If so, you are a thief in their eyes. They will avoid you because they think you are going to take away whatever fun they are currently having. To reverse this, become the giver. Practice trading. If you have to take a shoe, give them a high-value treat and a better toy in exchange. Show them that your approach usually means addition, not subtraction. The reconnection process takes time. You can't fix a week of avoidance in one afternoon. It's a slow build. It's like a savings account. You have to make a lot of small deposits of trust before you can start making withdrawals for things like vet visits or baths. Every time you respect their signal to walk away, you are actually making a deposit. It sounds counterintuitive. If I let them leave, won't they just stay away? But the opposite is true. When a dog knows they can leave whenever they want, they feel much more comfortable staying. The freedom to exit is the foundation of the desire to stay. Think about your dog's favorite spot in the house. Is it near the sun? Is it near a vent for cool air? Spend some time near that spot without invading it. Show them that you are a part of the environment, not a disruption to it. Most avoidant dogs are simply overwhelmed by intrusive energy. If you can learn to be non-intrusive, you will become the most valuable person in their life. The bond between a human and a dog is a conversation that never stops. Sometimes it's a happy shout of joy, and sometimes it's a quiet whisper of "I need a minute." The 10 signs we talked about today are just the quiet chapters of that conversation. They aren't the end of the story. They are an invitation to write a better one. In the dog world, compliance is not the same as trust. A dog who follows you because they are afraid of the consequences is not a dog who wants to be with you, but a dog who checks in with a wagging tail and soft eyes because they genuinely value your presence is the ultimate goal. That is the dog who will follow you through the stormy years and the deadly years of life with absolute loyalty. So as you go about your day with your pup, keep an eye out for the subtle stuff. Watch the calculated departure. Notice the lip lick. Honor the heavy sigh. When you start honoring the small signals, the big avoidance will start to melt away. You will find that your dog isn't secretly avoiding you anymore. Instead, they'll be openly seeking you out. The sandcastle is still there. The banks of trust can always be refilled. It just takes a little bit of patience, a lot of observation, and the willingness to see the world through a pair of furry ears. Your dog is waiting for you to get the signal. And once you do, the two of you will be back on the same frequency, heading toward a life of mutual respect and unbreakable connection. Final thought. Trust is not just about the big things we do together, but about the small things we allow each other to feel. Be the person your dog doesn't have to avoid, and you will have a friend for life. Stay observant, stay calm, and most importantly, stay predictable. Your best friend is waiting for the real you to come back.